Hey y'all, it's Kate from the Little Apothecary and welcome back to my channel.
I am back with another weekly reading update. Today is February 15th, a day after Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to y'all who celebrate. I am here, like I said, with another weekly reading update, so let's just get right into it. But first, we're going to talk about the books that I finished, then we're going to talk about my current reads, and then we're going to get to the next reads on my list. So first up, we have Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. I finished this. I liked it, but I didn't love it. But I did enjoy it more than I enjoyed all of our Seer trilogy. So there is still hope for me to become at least a semi-Robin Hobb fan. We will see with the rest of the books. I'm in it for the long run, y'all. Some people might think, oh my gosh, she didn't like Farseer trilogy. She's not going to continue. Look, I own a lot of Robin Hobb books at this point. I'm in it for the long haul in the realm of Elderlings. I'm going to read the whole universe series, whatever you call it. But I might not like them all because I haven't so far. So, with Ship of Magic, I liked it, but I didn't love it. But I loved the magical ships that we get here. The talking live ships. And Wintro and Althea and Vivacia were my favorite characters. I can't wait to talk to y'all about it, but review coming soon for that. Our short story of the week is Tiger Bites by Lucia Berlin. That can be found in this short story collection, A Manual for Cleaning Women. This short story is 1/2 to 2/3 about basically like a really crazy family. Moms are threatening to kill themselves. Uncles are crazy in jail. It's a crazy family. They're in Texas. It's a Mexican-American family, and there's some really, truly crazy people going on in that family. Now, the other 1/2/3 of this short story is basically about an abortion clinic in Mexico because it's illegal in Texas in this story. And our main character, she is with this guy who is abusive to her. He's not a great guy, but she still wants to give him the benefit of the doubt. They already have one kid who is just a toddler. Now she's pregnant with another kid, and I think it's her cousin, convinces her that she needs to have an abortion because she can't take care of this 2-year-old and this infant at the same time on her own. So she goes to this abortion clinic, and it's a really, really interesting moment in this short story that some interesting things happen. Some of the people there are probably taken advantage of. They are definitely charged way too much for these services. And it's just interesting to see everything that happens. In the end, our main character decides that she doesn't want this abortion, that she's gonna figure out how to take care of these 2 kids on her own. But it's just interesting going through this abortion clinic with our character and seeing everything that goes on there. And then we circle back to the crazy family again, and it gets even crazier. I actually really enjoyed this story. This is one of the ones that I've enjoyed more than some of the others. And I'm interested to see where these short stories go. Now for our current reads. So I am currently in the middle of a lot of books, as you know. A lot of these books I am near the end to, and I will hopefully finish it this weekend. But if not this weekend, then early next week. So I'm just gonna jump right in. I've got some digital books. I've got some physical books. We've got immersion reads going on. The first book up is Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. I am listening to the audiobook version of this book, and I know what you're thinking. This was not on last week's video for you to start next, but I felt like I needed something else to hold me over until my Hopeful Witchcraft Her Wayward Girls hold comes in, which I don't think it's gonna. I think I'm gonna have to cave and use a credit for that one. I didn't quite want to start Dungeon Crawler Carl yet because I want to finish the other ebook that I'm working on so I can do an immersion read of that. So I decided to jump in on Dread Nation. I did my usual routine of going to the very bottom of my Audible, unlistened, unstarted, not started list and picked the one that was on the bottom, which generally tells me that this has been on my list, my Audible library, the longest without being read. But y'all, this book is so good. I am enjoying it so much. It takes place after the American Civil War with zombies. You heard me correct, zombies. It takes place mainly in Maryland and Kansas, and our main character is a young black queer girl who went to this school where they're supposedly training black young girls to be attendants for white women, but also zombie killers. She is really badass. She's snarky, she's sarcastic, and I love her. Our audiobook is fantastic. I forgot to write down our narrator, but she does a fantastic job. Oh, an important thing to know, the zombies are called in this book Shamblers. So in case you're wondering that. I find the writing and the audiobook narration really, really engaging, and I'm always looking to find time to listen to this audiobook. Next up, we have an arc that I'm reading, which is another incredibly engaging book. This is the Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. I'm reading the e-arc for this on my Kindle, and y'all, I'm near the end of this, and it just gets crazier and crazier, and I'm told by Leslie, who just finished it this morning, that it gets even crazier from where I'm at now. If you have enjoyed any of Stephen Graham Jones' books, any horror books, you'll definitely want to check this out. This comes out on March 18th, and I'll have a full review for this on release day. But if you even think you might be interested in this Native American horror, supernatural, I think that's enough to not give it away. Supernatural, super engaging, super descriptive, super horrific, amazing book by Stephen Graham Jones. You definitely want to pre-order that. I think there is signed copies available through Barnes & Noble, and I am definitely going to be getting myself a physical copy of this book because I will want to reread this one. This is a horror book that I know I'm going to want to reread. Next up, we have my physical reads. Well, the first one up is actually a immersion read I'm doing. That is The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. This was a supporter pick. John's name came up. He picked this book, of course, as you know from other videos. I knew nothing really about this book. I've seen like clips of the opera, but I actually haven't seen the full opera. But I knew as soon as this one came up, this felt like one that I needed an audiobook to go along. So I found an audiobook on Hoopla through my library that's narrated by Gordon Griffin, and I'm still really early in this book. This is not one that I'm going to be finishing soon, but I feel like at least so far where I'm at, Gordon Griffin does a fantastic job of narrating this, and I'm really enjoying it. And I can't even, there's a opera worker who's found dead, and there's this fable of essentially the Phantom of the Opera. I think they call him the ghost in this so far, but they are pretty sure that the opera worker was killed by this ghost. He's somehow at fault for it. And it's just really interesting to see the dynamics here and our characterizations were really, really done well. Next up, we have The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana, and I absolutely love this book. This book is adorable. It is funny, it is sarcastic, it's endearing, and I love everything about it. It is just so freaking cute. This was also a supporter pick. This one landed on Sharon's name, so I spun my Sharon wheel to get a book that she had sent me before. This one came up, and I'm so glad. This just feels like the right book at the right time for me. I needed something a little bit lighthearted, but still with the feels, and this one definitely hit that bucket. As you can see, I am very close to the end of this one. I'm hoping to finish this one by the end of this weekend too. And then the last book that I am currently reading, which feels like I'll be reading forever, but eventually I'll be done, is The Lotus Eaters by Tatiana Solji. This is, of course, the historical fiction that takes place in Vietnam right after start right after the Vietnam War, and now where we're at in the book is kind of in the middle of the Vietnam conflict. And our main character is an American photojournalist who is a woman, and she originally went to Vietnam because her brother was drafted into the war and he was killed, and she's just trying to find out more information about how he died and his unit that he was with. But then she gets sucked in to Vietnam. She falls in love with Vietnam and the country and the people and other people, and it's a really beautiful telling of this story, and I'm really interested to see where it goes from here. I think I'm about halfway in this one, so I might not finish it this weekend, but maybe early next week. We'll see. Now, the books that I'll be reading next, some of these, actually both of these will sound familiar because I'm pretty sure I brought them up in our last video. That is, of course, Witchcraft for the Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. This one, I think I'm going to have to cave and use a Audible credit that I have sitting around waiting to be used, because I have a loan out in my library, but it's taking forever for that to go through. I'm like number 36 on the list, and that hasn't moved since I've put in the request. And I'm really anxious to get to this book, so I'm probably going to start that once I finish Dread Nation. The other book that I'm really excited to get to, which I hope to get to this weekend after I finish The Buffalo Hunter Hunter, is Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. This is another book that I've heard about through Leslie at the Nerdy Narrative. This is a lit RPG book, and she said it is hilarious. The series gets more serious as you go on, but the first couple books are amazing. She did suggest that if your mind tends to wander in listening to audiobooks, you won't want to do straight audio for this. So I have this one on Kindle, and I also have it on Audible, and we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited, and I think I will love it. So that's my reading for this week. The reading that I finished, the reading that I'm currently working on, and the reading I hope to get to next. Let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite reading moment from this past week? What are you looking forward to reading the most in this next week? As always, keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back.